Hello, Stampin' Buddies. It's Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from Wisconsin, and it is Tuesday, April 29th. All right. I got distracted for just a second with the little bing that came up on my phone. Usually it doesn't ding at me, but anyway, welcome. Thanks for stopping in and joining me today. Let me see if I can get this straightened out just a little bit. It's a little bit crooked. So we are going to take a look at, well, and I guess that went the wrong way. We'll try that. We're going to take a look at this Hooray for Surprises stamp set and dies. This, like several of the things that I've been working on lately, is from the Last Chance list. And these are both reduced in price. I don't remember what they were, but you can find them on my online store, which is at lorimacari.stampinup.net. Who doesn't like a deal, right? With the Last Chance list, any items on that Last Chance list, you can order them while they're there, but once they're gone, they will not be replenished. So they're not going to go like we used to have, like the clearance rack. Stampin' Up! Doesn't have that anymore. It goes on the Last Chance list. Once they sell out, it gets retired and it's gone. Okay, so this is what we're going to use tonight. And I kind of cased my card, and you'll see that this isn't actually put together here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I kind of cased the card from what's available online through the catalog, but I put my own little twist on it just with the extra DSP. I also used this sentiment here, but pulled out a couple of others that might be fun. And this is the Saying Something ephemera pack. This should still be available. I think it's carried over. All right. Let's get into it, because I think that's really all I need to announce. Well, there are a couple of things. Stampin' Up! Is going to release a new catalog on May 6th. There's some fun stuff in the catalog. There's also new online exclusives that get released. There's new kits that get released every month. And then from May 2nd and May 3rd, they're doing 2 times the points. So double your rewards points with the new rewards program that Stampin' Up! Has. Let me pull out my little flyer here. So you need to either have a customer account or update your customer account. If you opt in to receive the rewards, because it's something with the financial laws, you have to actually opt in to get those rewards. So if you either create a customer account with me or update your account by April 30th, let me know, and I will put you your name into a drawing for a free kit from me. So normally if you order at least $20, you'll get 10% of your order back in Stampin' Rewards. So you can't use it on that current purchase. It's for your future, so either your next or in the future purchases. And points are good for 12 months from when you earn them. So you can build them up and save up for something like, you know, let's say the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, because that's a bigger ticket item. So if you save up your rewards, you can either get it for free or get it at a reduced price. So you don't have to spend your points right away, but you certainly can. You can earn them and burn them if that's what you want to do. So instead of 10%, basically you're going to be getting double that, so 20%. That's pretty cool. So, May 6th to the 31st, Stampin' Up! Is offering a really sweet deal for anybody who would like to join my team. And normally a starter kit is $99, and you are allowed to pick out $125 worth of product. So that would be before tax. You have to pay the tax on it. But you don't have to pay any shipping. I think you still get a paper pumpkin kit in that. You get some business supplies if you want to do a business, but quite honestly, I think the majority of demonstrators are actually what I call discount divas or community coaches where they're not really doing a business, they're doing it for fun, and like the discount because the discount is awesome. You get 20% off initially, and you can build from there. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'd be more than happy to give you some more information. But that special from May 6th to the 31st is actually $99, but instead of $125 worth of product, you get to pick out $165 worth of product with all those other benefits. So that's a really good deal. All right, so now that's all my announcements, a little more than a 30-second commercial. Sorry about that. But here's the card we're going to make using this Hooray for Surprises. Now, the fun thing about this is these dies, which is why I got it. And I don't know if you can see this. Let me turn on another light here. So some of these dies have little, like, it almost looks like nubs, but they're actually blank spots where there's no metal, so it won't cut through the paper there. So you can see, I guess it's just these here and this one. And this is the one I'm going to demonstrate with tonight. I'm going to just kind of show you how it works. But those make punch-out pieces for your project. All right. So let's set this off to the side. And I think you should still be able to see that. We'll get my ink over here. I'm a messy stamper and I'm a putsy stamper. If you watched me before, you know how I roll. So when we use this die, I ran it through the machine just so I could save time and not have it up on my workspace here. I am going to die cut the cakes on here, but I've already die cut the flowers just to kind of save some time. So with this die, when you run it through your machine, you want to plan ahead to what you want to have under this. And what I would suggest is if you want to stamp some words so that when you peel this open, you can see, let's say it says happy birthday, or like here, you're simply amazing. Okay. What you would want to do is create a template, peel this off, put another piece the exact same size, and then stamp with this as your guide. I hope that makes sense. So let's say these are the exact same size. What I would want to do then is, we'll pretend they're the same size. I would peel this off. This would be my template. So this is one that I would use over and over again. It's just a guide if this is where I'm going to place that element. All right. And then I would, whatever stamp I've got on, I would just go stamp so that it fits in there. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Since I'm not stamping under this one today, I didn't have to do that. What I am doing though is I'm creating a pocket for a gift card to slide in. So my thing is, I'm going to make this card, and when they open it, the gift card will be able to come out. All right, so we have had some issues with the Postal Service. We've had, I know, say it isn't so, but we've had envelopes that have been sliced open, like around the holidays for our granddaughter, and a gift card was not included anymore that the sender actually had sent. So this would be a good way to have that gift card concealed in here, and it can't fall out of the card because it's inside here. And what I've done then is I've put adhesive strips all the way around so that card can't just fall out. You have to open this in order to get the gift card out. All right, so that's why I left that off of there, just so you could kind of see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to set this aside, and let's just do some quick prep work here. All right, so this piece is 3.5 by 5.5 because that's going to fit over the whole front of my card. This is 4.25 by 11, and it's scored at 5.5 because I'm doing it as a landscape rather than a portrait. All right, so this piece is going to get attached here. Now, one thing I didn't really like on this one, and I like the card, but I don't see as much of the designer series paper or the DSP as I wanted. But I also wanted to have enough left over because this is a 6x6 sheet of paper. I need at least 2¼ here. So did I do this at 3½? No, this is at 3¾ and then I had 2¼ here, so that makes my 6 inches because I like to dress up my envelope. You can't have naked envelopes. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to slice this kind of in half, and then I'm going to affix it to the front of my card up a little higher so that more of the DSP shows. All right. And I'm not going to worry about this piece because nobody's going to be able to see it, right? Once again, I start talking and my throat gets dry. So let's go ahead and put a little Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue here. And I don't put a thick layer, but I do spread it around the DSP because I like it to stick. And I'm going to put this pretty close to the edge, but I still want some of that white to show. And the nice thing about the liquid glue is that you do have a little bit of wiggle room to get it exactly where you want it before it finally sets. All right. The paper I'm using is also on the last chance list. It is the 24 to 26 in colors, but there'll be another design with the new catalog. So this is the in color designer series paper. So Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, Shy Shamrock, and Summer Splash. Those colors are still continuing for another year, but there'll be a different design of paper. All right, so let's put this on here. All right. And then what I want to do is decide what I'm going to do here. All right. Now with this one, I put my Stickum sheets on here before I stamped this. I didn't do that mistake here. So, you know, I had to be careful on how I stamped it because I just wasn't thinking ahead. And then this Make-A-Wish, I put on afterwards because the sample that I used from the online store, which is very similar, it did not have a sentiment on the front at all. And I just thought that was kind of plain. So I don't know if it's going to be Make-A-Wish or if it's going to be Hip Hip Hooray, Today is Your Day. And I think it's going to be this one. Because then on the inside of my card, I have put another sheet of designer series paper, also split with this sentiment. Okay. All right. So we've got this on here. Now, let me put my glue away. I am using these foam adhesive strips. I love these strips. They're great for shaker cards, but they're also really good for something like this. So I have already kind of eyeballed where I want them cut, and I made little slits in here. So we're going to take this one off, and we'll put it right kind of at the bottom of where those punch outs are going to be, so that they don't have to hopefully demolish their card to get that gift card out. And then the gift card's going to go like here. All right, so the gift cards can sit here. Oops, we'll take this one. So this one I'm actually going to put up here so that the gift card doesn't have a whole lot of room to travel. And I think that should be pretty good. So I'm going to put that there. I guess you could see all the stuff at who it's from and how much it was for. All right, so then we're going to put this piece at the edge of where my tear out is going to be. This one will be at the edge of this tear out. And then before we put this all together, we would put the gift card inside. All right. So I'm done with those adhesive strips. Let's do our little bit of stamping. All right. So on this piece, we're just going to do some of these cakes that are just, I think, adorable. And we're going to do 3 different colors. We're going to do the peach pie. And these, again, are in colors that we've had for a year, but they're sticking around for another year. All right, so there's our peach pie. We'll get that out of the way. Clean our stamp. And I use my chamois to clean my stamps, just like a car chamois, but it's foam. You get it wet, and then I have these old stamp cases, but also if you get a full-size one, because it's 5x7. I cut mine in half because I use them for classes, so I like them to go around a little bit. But this is how it got. Excuse me, this is how it comes, and it fits in basically the Stampin' Up! Stamp cases. All right, so if you keep them damp, they'll keep nice and soft. If you let it dry out all the way, they get really hard, but then you just put them under the water and let them soften up again. I find using hot water works better than using cold water. All right, so there's that cake. And I just got ink all over my finger. Hopefully I won't smudge it on the paper. And then we're going to use Summer Splash. All 3 of these are continuing in colors. I think my stamp pad might be kind of juicy. I'm getting a little speckly on there. All right, so we'll clean this stamp off as well and set that off to the side. All right, so my die is here. I'm going to bring in my small Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, my little Betsy. All right, so the sandwiches are marked on here. So you need a base plate, you need a cutting plate, and then you need whatever you're going to die cut, whatever paper you're going to use. Now, my bottom plate is a little warped. I think what happens is I usually put my dies like right in the middle, and then it kind of warps sometimes. If you move it around a little bit more, I have had plates that don't warp at all, and I don't really worry about it a whole lot. But we're going to go ahead and just use some washi tape and hold that in place so that it doesn't shift when I put this plate in. So you can see my base plate is up all the way. My cutting plate is back a little bit. And then this other cutting plate, I use one clean one that I always use as the top, and I use a bottom one that's always for cutting. And then when the bottom one gets too ragged looking, then I just throw that one out, and I use the top one as my new bottom plate. And then I just get another set. You get 2 plates when you order replacements. And then I just use one at a time, basically. Okay? Hope that makes sense. All right. That particular washi tape was really sticky. So I don't want to cut everything out ahead of time, because what's the fun of not really showing you anything, right? And the reason why I offset my plates, you can see here, they will kind of pop out. But I offset them so that that middle plate is back and these are both beveled, and that makes it go through the machine easier. Okay, so rather than having a solid 3-layer, basically there's 2 layers and it can gradually pull in that 3rd layer. That's a trick I learned from Stampin' Up. Somebody there was talking about how to use the machines and not have to fight them so much. All right, last one. All right, I think I'm going to turn this around here, get my other plate. And that's the last item we're going to die cut because these other flowers I already did ahead of time. So we'll get this stuff out of the way. Put little Betsy away. And then get our last cake. And then I like to put my dies where I'm not going to lose them on that little magnet. Okay, so all right, now I have a bunch of flowers that I already die cut. That was a little putsy because I did several of them. All right, so the cakes I'm going to put up on dimensionals, but I want to do these flowers first. And if I follow my first sample, we had 2 of the Petunia Pop, and I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and just push it right in the center so those petals come up a little bit. And you can either do it in your hand or on your piercing mat, works really well. And then we've got that peach pie, and then we'll do these Summer Splash. All right, and then we're just going to put some little glue on here. So let's do, whoops, that got to be kind of a lot. I don't usually use that much, but I guess I squeezed it a little bit more than I intended to. Because usually a little glue goes a long way. Alrighty. And then once we have these on, I'm going to put some embellishments in the center. And what I picked, the sample used just the iridescent pearls, but I thought these iridescent faceted gems would be kind of fun. So that's what we're going to use. I can get this out of the way. So normally I use the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool to slide my embellishments off, but these are textured, so some of the putty was getting stuck in there. So I'm just going to use the pointy end, which is what a lot of people use anyway. And sometimes it's a struggle for me to not lose the embellishment off my little pokey end. So that's why I usually use the putty. But if I concentrate really hard, hopefully I will not have any flying embellishments or lost embellishments like this. Crisis averted. All right, so I think these little cakes are adorable. All right, so we can get these put out of our way, and then let's put these on some dimensionals. Let's find one that I already started. Well, I guess I've used all, there we go. And I'm just going to put one big dimensional on each. And let's start with that peach pie one because that's the one that's going to go in the middle. And I want to just kind of have it to the center. So I think this one, if I look here, yep, that's about in the center. And I want it down low enough so that this hip hip hooray, it's your day can go on here. And I had contemplated, there's a really cute candle with the flame on here that I was going to stamp just on the paper on my basic white cardstock. But then when I looked at it, it seemed like the candle was a little too big for the cakes. So the only thing you want to be careful when you're doing this is try not to push on this to get any of these punch out pieces torn ahead of time. Okay, so let's get this back out of the way. I think we're done with those dimensionals. I'm not going to use these flowers on the outside. But then this, now there's a couple of nubs on here. And I don't like the nubs. These ephemera packs are laser cut for us ahead of time. So since it's like a punch out item, they have little nubs on them. So I like to get rid of the nubs. And then we'll see, I think I'm just going to put that straight on here. And I don't want to put it on another dimensional. Well, actually I could, because there's no dimensional under here. So I could put this on a dimensional, and if as it goes through the machine, the postal machine, it would probably push down. So you shouldn't really need extra postage. So let's find some mini dimensionals, because they are slightly thinner than the big ones. Right. And I'm just going to put that on so that we've kind of got an equal border on the top and the side. All right. Now with this one, I'm not going to go ahead and stick it all the way onto my card again, because this is not the gift card that I'm going to put in here, but this is how the gift card will go in there. And then when they peel this off, they'll be able to get the gift card out of there. All right. So that's the intention. And what I could do is stick on 3 of these sides and then just kind of leave a flap open so I could pull the rest of it off when I slid the card in. But we're just going to leave it like this for now. And then I'm going to show you again on the inside of this one. I think what I'll do is put a couple of these little flowers here. It feels like there's 2. I did die cut 2 at a time. Maybe not. Just thick cardstock. All right. So I'm just going to put a couple of dots of glue in here because I think that'll be cute. I won't put any of the embellishments on the inside because that could pop through the card, of course. All right. So these other ones I will save. I didn't cut an inside piece for this one yet because it was getting late, and Late Night Lori is actually kind of getting ready to call it a night. So this will be this one. And then the one that we did tonight is the peach pie. So the peach pie one, remember I split this piece of designer series paper so you could see a little bit more of the DSP behind the card, or on top of the card base under that layer. So let me know which one you think looks better, Petunia Pop or the pumpkin pie. So minimal DSP or a little bit more DSP. And that's all I have for you tonight. So, hooray for surprises. The dies. These make little punch outs. These are like little word bubbles that would punch out. This is a heart. And this is just a regular flower. These two are not punch out pieces. And then you've got the little leaf and the flower. So this is really a fun set. And like some of the other ones, you know, I haven't used it as much as I should have because it is a fun set. But I think I will probably make a few more of these since I've got it out. And that is it. So let me know if you like Petunia Pop or Peach Pie. And until next time, happy stamping.